Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Mount Tammany Ridge channel. My name is John, and for those of you who haven't come across my channel yet, I'm down here in my wood yard today, and for those of you who have been watching the channel over the past few years, know that at this point I have actually stopped burning my own wood, just for issues, getting up and down the stairs. I'm capable, but I'm at work all day, and it just hasn't been working out for the rest of the family. We've got some health issues that hinder our ability to feed the wood stove while I'm not home, and so it's just unfortunately not going to be serving us for our own heat anymore. I do enjoy a nice a wood fired heat. It's nice to have. But I'm not going to give up on the firewood thing, so I'm going to continue to split firewood. Now it's nice to know it's really not under pressure yet. So what I got going on nowadays is more like I said, hobby type stuff. I got a little firewood stand down off of a local state highway just across the woods here, and the stand in the past has had a really bad experience with some theft, and so I kind of just let it simmer over the summer. I didn't do anything with it, and I was on the verge of just calling it quits, going and getting my stand and just being done with the whole firewood stand aspect, just because of that. But few of my friends just figured, you know what, it's been a year, give it another shot one more time and see if things change, and knock on wood, it seems to have changed. I guess it could always change back, but luckily so far my sales are a little bit more regular. They're not crazy. It's not knocking it out of the park or anything. I do have some customers now stopping by and buying larger quantities. I have a feeling that has a tremendous amount to do with the fact that I dropped the price of the wood by $3 a bag. But I know, with a 1 cubic foot bag stuffed, even my brother-in-law said that that's too little for that amount, and I agree. I am aware of that, but I'm going to try a little bit of a different approach this time and see if I can divide that stand in half and have some wood that's going to be for the $5 with a little less frills and thrills, and then the other side will be barkless stuffed bundles, or I should say really stuffed bags like I usually do them, and maybe a little bit of kindling mixed in and things like that. So and then bring the price up. So undecided on the price. I'm thinking $5 increments is going to have to be the way it is, just for convenience. Most folks out there are either at the mercy of using an ATM machine to do purchases like that, or a Venmo, or that other one that they have out there. And I just haven't gotten comfortable yet with the idea of using something like Venmo. It just seems, I don't know, there's just something sketchy about it. I'm old-fashioned. I'll probably at some point offer that, but again, I don't have enough sales to warrant using something like Venmo. So we're just going to leave that at that. So today I've got this splitter here. Now this was originally a Champion splitter. I had sliced and diced and heavily modified the structure of the machine and some of the mechanics. And when I say mechanics, I mean it's got a pusher plate rather than a wedge mounted to the ram. It's got a 4-way wedge here. It's a push-through design with an outfeed tray. I also, like I said, I raised it up to like 35 inches, give or take a smidge. And but everything else is the same. It's still got the real slow cycle time. It's got this really heavy pull on the handle, so you're wrestling that thing like arm wrestling. And the motor's still the Champion motor. Still has the same amount of hydraulic fluid. I'm not using any more hydraulic fluid. I don't seem to be having overheating issues, which is good. I like that because I was a little bit concerned. Of course, that could change at some point in the future. I am hoping to actually get rid of this cylinder and put maybe like a 17-ton splitter cylinder on it, or a 14-ton, or whatever's available. But I do want a faster cycle time. I know that for sure. So, and this here was the beginnings of the log lift apparatus, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do something a bit different with the log lift. And when I say different, I mean different than what I had in mind, but probably a little bit more similar to some of the ones that already exist out there. So we'll have to see how that goes. I don't have a fixture table or any flat table for me to make a jig and make these things perfectly square, straight, so it's a bit frustrating working on my hands and knees on the floor in the garage. And so yeah, when you get old, bending over and going around your hands and knees doesn't last very long. You're down there for a couple minutes before you say uncle. Anywho, I'm gonna stop yammering. I appreciate you guys swinging by and watching a little bit of what I got going on here. I'm gonna start doing some resplits here with some bigger, gnarlier stuff that I couldn't put in bags. I'm gonna knock them down and make them a little bit more bag friendly. So that's really all I have going on for today. Maybe tomorrow I might fire up the chainsaw, do some bucking and some bigger splits. So let's get to it. We've had some pretty cold evenings out east here for the past couple weeks. And I think yesterday we had a high during the day of like 25 or something. And so I work for a lumber yard here in town, and there's a decent little creek that goes right alongside the lumber yard, and it empties out into a river that they call the Polaris River. And it's always very, very raw in the yard when even when it's just a brisk, spring or summer morning. It can feel kind of raw down there along the creek. And yeah, it's been interesting. This is the first time we've had a first snowstorm actually produce something. It's weird. And when I say the first time, I mean I'm talking like the first time in a lot of years. As we all remember, when we were a kid, we had way more snow than we do nowadays, at least in our area. And I think that's probably across the board, really. The places that still get what we consider a tremendous amount of snow probably aren't getting what they used to get. So those big snowstorm stories are relative to the area where you grew up. But today, it's overcast. It doesn't look real pretty other than the snow, all that. But it's actually pretty warm. I almost feel like I don't need my gloves, but I'm going to keep them on anyway. As you could hear, there's some shots fired in the background. No, I don't live in that part of Jersey. I live in the part of Jersey where there's a lot of hunting. And hunting season is alive and well. And even when it's not hunting season, we got plenty of folks out there, doing target practice and skeet and all kinds of fun stuff. We actually live in the last real country-like, pretty mountain-esque, picturesque part of New Jersey. From the northern counties. There's even parts of Passaic County on the northern side that are very, very pretty. You got like Passaic County, you got Sussex County, Warren County, the whole northern section that's basically right up against, say, like the Delaware River, or the southern side of the 287 north section that's going out toward Connecticut. And very, very lucky that my parents moved me out here when I was a kid. I had a much more adventurous, exciting childhood growing up than I would have if I stayed a little bit further east. Not to say things can't get exciting further east, just not the exciting I'm looking for. Yeah, a lot of the pieces that I'm dealing with right now are actually very, they're knotty. They got a lot of, offshoots from branches. And it makes it a little bit tougher to make bundles because they're all crooked and wonky shaped. So I feel like I want to get more in here. Find another smaller piece. Ooh, is that? Nah. That'll catch everything on the way in, that's for sure. Maybe this one. Yeah, I know I didn't split a whole lot here through this little splitting section. I'm going to obviously split more. I don't want to get the Ranger loaded up too much. Both of my parents are under the weather. And Teresa just got back from the doctors to verify that, yes, unfortunately they have the flu. And so things for me are probably going to be a little bit busier around here than usual. But yeah, so I don't want to overload the Ranger just in case one of my folks needs to use their geezer glide, is what I call it, to get around, because I'm sure I'm going to be helping them or assisting, pick up some of the workload while they're sick. But I know they won't let me do the whole thing, so they're just too stubborn. They don't know the word quit. I'm sure they can even spell it. So this is what I'm doing for the time being. I kind of planned to do this to begin with for the weekend. Just yesterday, my wood stand got hammered pretty good. Some of you guys are selling like 30, 40 bundles a day regularly, and if I get a hit that's 8 bundles, I'm like, whoa, oh my God, So yeah, it seems to be somebody, I don't know who, but somebody, thankfully, and I'm very grateful for it, is regularly buying like 8 bundle hits. So and there's a few people here and there that are buying 2 or 3, sometimes 4, which I'm sure you guys can probably imagine, because that's what people do. So yeah, hopefully things stay uneventful in the way of theft. I don't know what has changed. I'm not sure that it really matters to me that why it is that it changed or what has changed. All that I care about is that it's changed in a positive direction. So yeah, the whole theft is always going to be a thing. Doesn't matter where you live, unfortunately. But some places are just far less than others, and I feel like the area that I grew up in, they're really, theft was not what we considered like a regular thing. So yeah, you would have your isolated cases here and there. I know a couple years ago things were starting to get real sketchy. You couldn't leave anything outside if it wasn't bolted down for a little while there, and then it seemed to stop. I imagine a lot of that had to do with the fact that we were able to have our law enforcement do what they do best and handle the matter. So I'm sure that has a big part as to why we saw a major downtick in theft. So, yeah, man, these bags are going to be a little bit weird. I'm not going to be there. All I need is another slew of viewers all ticked at me because I stood in front of the camera on one of my videos. It was kind of, I should have never posted the video, to be honest. I intended to make another one, which I did do. I did make another video on the same subject matter, and it was much better, even with a little bit of humor and sarcasm in it. And I just got a comment the other day. It's been a long time since I've gotten a comment on the video that somebody did. I guess somebody must have come across it. And you guys might remember the video. It was the video of, how to cut the tips on, say, 20 posts at a time, for instance. And that's how that all worked out with that particular video. I was doing 20 posts and all in one shot, basically. And there was a couple people that were pretty peeved off that I stood in front of the camera. And that whole thing, it came down to just the fact that I couldn't my tripod, I had backed over it with my skid steer accidentally, and I didn't have any real good way to to put my camera up. So I had the ROPS on the tractor, the roll bar, and then I had the little pipe here on the Ranger, and neither one of them were a good fit for what I needed done. But again, I didn't know when that tripod was going to come in. We ordered it from Amazon, and I wanted to make the video, and what was going on there, I couldn't wait because we really needed to fix the fence. The fence was broken, and I had this great idea, and I needed to get it, out there, because who knew when we were going to have the next opportunity to to do another 20 posts. That's why I posted it. So yeah, originally, like I said, I was going to take it down, but I decided I got so many comments that I thought were kind of hilarious and taunting, sort of. I figured I'd leave it up just to tick off whoever it ticked off, and make people laugh and snicker at whether it was the comment that somebody made, or just the fact that I stood in front of the camera. But if you are the person who it is that made some of those comments, rest assured, if you look through the rest of my videos, you will find the other video. I don't remember off the top of my head what I titled it, but I believe if you look on my page, you will see, what do you call it? So by subject, I have some for the MTR splitter build. I have another playlist, I guess you could call it, of videos that are related to the post pounder, the project where I was working on the fence with the post pounder. I'm pretty confident that if you go into that one, you will find everything related to me installing fence here, and more likely with the post pounder, and obviously the chainsaw, nipping the tips on those posts to prep them for hammering into the hard ground. So yeah, I hope whoever it is out there that I seem to have given the old purple nurple Indian burn type of thing to, I hope you're listening. I hope you find the video. It sounded like it could be a great deal of help to you and probably a lot of others, as to see a way to expedite the sharpening of the posts, because I'm sure you all have tried it one post at a time with a chainsaw, and it can be really frustrating. It's doable, but it's very repetitive and monotonous and very long and drug out. So you still have to be, decent with a chainsaw to do it. I mean, if you're somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience running a chainsaw, it might be a little bit sketch. So just keep that in mind. That's a little bit of a public service announcement there for safety. So yeah. Oh, feel like I'm yammering. So I'm gonna finish bagging up this last bag. I think all these other pieces here are gonna be a little bit too wonky to put in one bag together. So I'll bring you guys back when I'm running the machine some more. All right, folks. So as far as the video is concerned, I think I'm going to call it good here. This last round of poplar here, I figured I'd throw it through. That way, anybody who hasn't seen the channel or any videos on the splitter build gets a little bit of an idea that it can split. It's not just a resplit machine. So, you know, this adjustable wedge, I have bigger and better plans for it in the future. It does adjust down so that it's a two-way, or I should say a single wedge, and then up to one adjustment here to get it to where it is now. So this is just kind of like a prototype, you know, proof of concept, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, so that's where I am. This stuff's pretty stringy. It's a lot harder to split when it's wet, especially, which poplar absorbs moisture out of the air, almost as if you had picked it up out of the bottom of a river. So, you know, it's one of those woods that if you're going to leave it outside to season, your windows of opportunity to burn it without it being very smoky are kind of, they're limited, right? So if it's a very damp, wet summer, spring, fall, whatever, this is going to absorb every bit of moisture that there is, whether it's in the air or coming out of the sky, out of the clouds, I should say. So yeah, it's very wet right now. This is like very, very wet, and as you can see, like I said, it's the two-stage pump kicks down to push through some of this stuff, especially if it's got knots in it. So but I wish I had some better wood right now. I do have some honey locust, but they're really big, gnarly pieces that I can't handle right now. I'm having issues with my back. I have to render them down to a more handleable size. So handleable, yeah, whatever, probably not in the dictionary. Anyway, yeah, so that's gonna be it. So if you guys have any questions about the splitter, feel free, chime in the comments, ask away, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Like I said, I'm just a hobbyist, you know. I play with, you know, welding and fabrication and a little bit of milling and lathe work just recently, and I don't know a whole lot about any of it. I'm one of those guys that just kind of do, you know. So yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out with me, watching me run this thing for a little bit, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. If you could hit that like button, subscribe, share with some of your friends that might be interested, and I'll see you on the next video.